many worrying reports from Iran regarding human rights situation
Yes.
in the country. How would you view that, and what are your concerns?
Okay. Despite the improvements in international relations, you want me to talk to camera or you want me to talk to you? To camera?
Yes.
Despite the improving international relations with Iran in diplomatic terms, the situation inside the country is still very troubling. The continued arrest, imprisonment, torture and execution of political opponents and dissidents is totally wrong. 966 executions last year is obscene. The Iranian government in Tehran really needs to look more seriously at justice within its country, and that's clearly not happening at the moment.
The crackdown, increasing execution, as you mentioned, and the persecutions of families, of activities, and members of the opposition, the PMOI in Iran, all happen as there many Iranian cities have seen large and repeated protests against the regime. Is there any relation between these, and why is the regime responding with repression?
I think it's quite clear that the regime is more and more worried about its security. The increasing number of demonstrations and expressions of dissidents within the country is making it more frightened, and as a result of that, the crackdown against free-thinking people within Iran, the increased number of people being arrested, the continued use of torture, and the executions, which have reached a frightening scale, if they weren't bad enough already, demonstrates that the regime in Tehran, the theocracy, is worried that the Iranian people are reaching the end of their tether.
Yes. Many describe Rouhani as a moderate, but the worsening of the human rights refute that. What are the other major concerns with regard to the regime and its policies, especially in the region?
Well, every new Iranian leader has been described as a moderate, and even more moderate than the last leader. But the number of executions continues to increase. There has not been a reduction in the number of people being arrested. There have been no reduction in the number of young people being arrested. Iran continues to meddle in the internal relations in Syria, in Iraq and elsewhere. Clearly, this is not the course that a moderate leader would take. And Khamenei does not appear to be any more moderate than the last leader. And the continued number of executions is a clear demonstration that nothing has changed under the new leadership in Tehran.
In your view, is there any viable alternative to the current theocracy in Iran? And does the Iranian people's democratic aspiration has a voice?
For many parliamentarians here in the United Kingdom, in the House of Lords and in the House of Commons, the National Council for Resistance in Iran provides the alternative leadership. Mariam Rajavi's programme is one which is supported by many politicians in many countries in the West. We want to see real democracy in Iran. We want to see the ability of the Iranian people to choose its own government, free from intimidation, free from the pressure that the theocracy has been putting on at every election, and we want to see Iran return to the democratic fold. The people deserve no less.
You mentioned the Iranian opposition, the NCRI, and Mrs. Mariam Rajavi's democratic 10 points platform of future Iran. What those that represents, and how should the international community support it? And what measures should be taken to help the Iranian people establish this in their country?
Mrs. Rajavi's plan for Iran is one which is supported by many politicians in the West. Certainly here in London, that is the case. It provides an alternative programme. It's one that the international community should support. The British government, the European Union, the United Nations should give more support to the resistance in Iran. What we want to see is a return to full democratic government in Iran, and the NCRI's 10-point plan offers that alternative.
Finally, Iranians and supporters of NCRI are preparing for the annual gathering in Paris on July 9 in support of a free and democratic Iran. What does this gathering symbolize, and what is your message to them and your colleagues in democratic parliaments around the world?
My message to the gathering and the conference in Paris is very simply this. I'm sorry I'm not with you. I know it will be a great event. I know it will demonstrate the international support that the NCRI has. It will demonstrate the support of Iranians for the NCRI, and hopefully will be a focus and a focal point for international support for a democratic Iran and a return to the democratic country we want to see.